Howdy. How's everybody doing? This is an awesome, awesome event. I love being here. Thank you so much for organizing this. I was at another awesome event this summer called Sustainable Brands, and they gathered about 1,000 people, the biggest brains in the brand movement that were moving to sustainability. And I sat in this huge theater, about 500 people in this theater, and we listened to these brilliant people talking about how they're shifting their brands to green. And I saw something else, because I was sitting in the back of the theater. I saw, for the first time ever, that about 90% of the people weren't doing this and looking at these incredible speakers. They were doing this. And they were sending out tweets, and they're writing on their blogs. I thought, wow, that is so cool. You guys are so much smarter than me. And then the second day, I had the guts to actually look over somebody's shoulder who was writing on his computer furiously while Adam Werbach, one of the biggest brains in the green brand movement, the guy who helped Walmart get on track with green. Adam was up there talking, and this guy was typing. I thought, I better read this. So I look over the guy's shoulder. He says, green is good. He says, green is cool. I'm going, that's it? I said, you, my friend, are a knucklehead. That's all you can write about what this guy is saying? And it dawned on me, this fella in the audience was so taken by the means, this fantastic means of communication, that he was actually missing the message. That's what I want to talk to you about today. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not a Luddite. I do not hate social media. I use social media. I've seen the power of social media in the hands of people who know how to use it. Barack Obama used social media in an awesome way to rally Americans and make a real vote for change. And speaking of elections, in Iran, when the government stole the vote, stole the election, social media was the only form of media they couldn't shut down. And it had an awesome effect on that government. Social media is immediate. Social media is raw. Social media is visceral. Social media gives you shades of content so you can compare points of view. Social media helps me connect with people who share my point of view, find people anywhere in the world who share my point of view. Social media helps me connect with friends anywhere in the world at the speed of a snap like that. But at a time when books like The Tyranny of Email are being published, it makes me question whether introducing even more forms of awesome communication is all that it's cracked up to be. Jerry Seinfeld has an amazing anecdote. It relates to this. He says, have you ever heard the phone ring and you run to the phone, you pick up the phone, you say hello, and somebody on the other end says, oh, you're there. I didn't know you were there. I was just going to leave a message. What up with that? We have become people who are more interested in leaving messages for other people than we are in actually talking to these people. And the opposite applies. We all love messages. I love messages. I run home at the end of the day, I pick up the phone, it goes beep, 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 I got messages. Yeah, the answering machine is helping me keep a whole bunch of marginal relationships alive. It's like this lifeline, this respirator of hopeless relationships. And we're buying into it, hook, line, and sinker. Social media, in the wrong hands, is that scenario on steroids. We have become a society of people who are desperately afraid of being left out. Nothing could be worse than being left out. That explains, I believe, the phenomenon of Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher has millions of people following his tweets. Ashton Kutcher is a guy who has made his career out of memorizing and reciting what other people put in his brain. He is not a big thinker, people. Yet there we are, myself included, rushing to sign up to hear what Ashton has to say about Demi, because we don't want to be left out. Now, last count, I had 150 friends on Facebook. I had 90 business connections on LinkedIn. And I had about 80 people following me on Twitter, which is amazing considering that I have never, ever posted a single tweet. What are these people waiting for? They're hoping that one day I will post that first tweet and it will be so awesome that they can tell all their friends that they got it and everybody else was left out. It's crazy. It's crazy. But we have become a society of folks who are deathly afraid of being left out. And therefore, we're throwing away the message and we're just going for the communication method. We are throwing away the message and instead we're sitting there drinking from this fire hose of communication. And what does that do to us? At the very least, it makes us distracted. We can't pay attention because there's just too much stuff coming in. It makes us unproductive because we're so distracted. Now, in a society where hyper-productivity seems to be the problem, being less productive might not be so bad. We feel guilty. We sign up as one of the 23,000 fans of Al Gore's Facebook page because what we want to do is make a difference to the environment, right? So we go, click, I'm a fan, yes. And then what happens is, nothing happens. And we feel guilty because the world hasn't saved itself, even though I'm a fan of Al's. So what do? Yes, we sign up for David Suzuki's Facebook page. And we sign up for other Facebook pages that are all about green, right? And what happens as a consequence of that, of our guilt and signing up, click, 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 click? We get this inundation of even more communication that we can't filter through. And at the very worst, what could happen is we do this. We duck and cover because finally the circuits have just burned out and we've gone flatline. We can't take in any more information. We can't focus long enough to distill the message anymore. We go catatonic. Well, the problem is the world is in trouble. The world does not need catatonic people doing this. The world needs people who can focus on a message and do this. March and embrace and connect and commit. David Suzuki talks about our shattered world being one of the leading causes of environmental destruction. And what he means is, has anybody here seen a sheet of safety glass? You throw a rock at it and it shatters, but it doesn't go all over the place. It just all holds together and it forms this spider web of little pieces that are all still holding together, but they're all broken apart from each other. And that's us. Each of us lives in one of those tiny little shards of glass. We all look like we're together, marching together, but in fact, we're just sharing the same postal code. We're just all coexisting separately. I turn on my water. I don't know where that water came from. Could come from a Crystal Spring Lake, could come from your bathtub. I don't know. I flush my toilet. Where does it go? To the sewer system? To your toilet? I don't know. In the case of social media, I check out the streaming video of Northern England getting inundated with floods. I go, oh, that's awful. Click, turn it off. What's for dinner? I have just become a person who has a casual interest in everything, and therefore I cannot commit and focus on anything. Let's talk about commitment. What can I commit to? They did research tracking the leading cause of young people enlisting in the armed services. Why did you enlist? To quite possibly lay down your life. The ultimate commitment. It wasn't because of their country. It wasn't because of their president. It wasn't because of an ideology. Those are all those big, fat generalizations that appeal to everyone and nobody can focus on. What it was my brother enlisted, or my best friend enlisted, or when my dad was my age, he enlisted. I enlisted to lay down my life in service because of a person that I was committed to. Now, I can tell you for a fact that if I smoked, I would not stop smoking because I was a fan of Al Gore's Facebook page, or even Ashton's. I would not start riding my bicycle because of it. I would not recycle or compost because of it. But I can tell you another thing. If my 6-year-old turned around tomorrow and said, Daddy, why are we driving a Hummer? The world is being poisoned. I would go, oh God, oh no, oh no, oh no, I better stop driving the Hummer. I would do that for my kid. I would do it for my wife. I would do it for my folks. If all my friends started recycling and they looked at me like I was some kind of a jackass, I would start recycling because I owe something to them. Folks, I want to leave you with one final image. Emperor Nero, fiddling while Rome burns. If we don't put social media in the right context and use it as a tool as opposed to the end, use it as a means as opposed to the end, social media becomes that violin. Rome burning becomes the world in climate crisis. And if we keep on fiddling and being distracted by social media and not committing, we become Emperor Nero. It is time to put down the violin and stop fiddling with the cool new tools and start committing and marching. It is time to start getting involved in the protests. It is time to start making action happen. It is time to start composting, riding your bike to work, simple things. There's a million things you can do. Everybody knows how you can do them. The world will not be saved by typing the mission. The world will be saved by living the mission. Thank you.